Right, thank you, everybody. We're back. I can see everyone now as well. I've got my glasses on. 2025, first, whoop, whoop, indeed. Happy New Year as well to everyone. I'm not sure if I need to turn this down a touch on the stream. You sound gay. Oh, okay, brilliant. The camera's doing the usual thing the camera does. It is meant to like do stuff. It's like £300 for a camera which is meant to follow you, but it doesn't. Anyway, right, let's crack on. So first Svelte London of 2025, and I've got slides and everything. Is everyone okay with the housekeeping? I tried to make sure I briefed everyone as they come in. Everyone knows what a toilet is? Food and drinks, help yourself to anything that's in the fridge on the side there. Okay, code of conduct. The Svelte Society Code of Conduct is, well, by your mere presence here, you are implicitly agreeing to abide by the Svelte Society Code of Conduct. And you should have read this. Essentially, it's just don't be a dick, and then you'll be okay. If there's any issues, anyone is making you feel uncomfortable, including me, and I make a lot of people feel uncomfortable, talk to either myself, Willow, raise your hand, Willow, or Kane. Yes, or Kane over there. Is that all the society ambassadors? Anyone else an ambassador here? No. Okay, brilliant. Moving on. So we're going to come to thanking our wonderful sponsors, hosts, sorry, not sponsors, which is Foolproof. We're all here tonight. We've got to thank Aris for that. And I just want to focus on that we are very much a community-funded event. We try to do them as often as possible. I love seeing everyone here and speaking to everyone, but you know, this is just a way to you know, to participate in any way if you want. So I've made a link for you there. So we want to speak to our hosts. We've got Aris. So we want to say thank you, first of all, for being supporting us. I think the last time we were here, October, and then this time round again. So I just want to, can we just give a quick clap for Aris? And then, can I come say a couple of words, Aris, about what Foolproof is and what you do? So, I've got some slides for you as well.
Thanks. So yes, I work for Foolproof for the past 3 or 4 years, and Theo's here as well. We work together. We are the developers. It's part of a bigger group which is called Zensar. It's an Indian company. And I'm quite happy because they do support the community, and we have a lot of events in this office, not just Svelte, but we have hosted React Native London, my meetup at JS Monthly, and a lot of other events. So at the moment there is a bit of a lack of companies helping communities. It used to be better before pandemic, but after pandemic, things have gone a bit bad, I believe. So I'm quite happy for Foolproof that does that. It's a design agency, but it has a lot of developers working for them, just us and a lot of Indians in India. So yeah, I welcome you all and thank you for coming here.
Thank you, Aris. You want a couple of other slides for you if you want to talk about these?
So yeah, I'm not just working here. I organize CityJS, and we have a big event in April. We have a lot of big names coming. One of them you probably know, the creator of your community, or the product, or the library. So there is a QR code for 20% from the price that we are selling at the moment. So it's not just him. We have Ken Dodds. Jason Lextroff. We have a guy from Node.js they just released a new version, the 23, that is going to have natively TypeScript. So that guy that he made the change, he's coming to London. We haven't completed the lineup. We're going to add a few more people.
Paolo.
So yeah, and we're going to probably add more Svelte. So you should come. You should come because you need to support us. We are a community conference. You know, we are not a corporate conference like a recruitment conference. It's developers for developers. So you need to support this kind of events so I'm able to keep doing it. So yeah, then I'm able to support communities like yours, you know.
Yes. Thank you very much, Aris.
Thanks.
Beautiful. Thank you, mate. Let's mute that. Chuck it in there. I'm all welled up. Thank you, Aris. Okay, Svelte Summit. Who's going to Svelte Summit? Wow. No, okay, who wants to go to Svelte Summit? Okay, cool. So, just behind Willow here is a discount code for the first 5 people to use it. Okay. And just search Svelte Summit, and you'll find that. And yeah, is that? Yeah, it's all lowercase apart from the L. Cool. Right. Let's talk about the schedule. Let's before I do that, just quickly. What's in my mouse? Yay, computers. Isn't awkward. I'm literally shuffling the slides. Sorry. Oh, was it on that already? Never mind. Okay. So first up, we've got Rowan. We've got a bit of a AI slant to both the talks this evening. We've got Rowan coming to talk about building his blog over on Casa with Svelte Kit and which other ChatGPT. Cool. Right. Okay. So let's get Rowan up and give him a big clap. Right. Where's the make it bigger? Where's the? Is it F12? Clicker. Here you go. So people can hear you. Sorry.
Can I just hold it in my hand?
Stick it on. Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Hello, my name is Rowan. I'm the founder at Casa. We can talk a bit more about that in a second, about what exactly Casa builds. We are an AI prop tech company. Recently, we launched a blog for SEO and GEO. I haven't yet read the research on GEO, which is generative engine optimization, under this thesis that eventually most search traffic will come from people speaking to LLMs as opposed to generic search and traditional SEO, which is just like keywords and vomit. So we needed to build a blog for the keywords and vomit. I didn't want to use a CMS, and so we went about using as simple of a stack as we could, MD Svex, Markdown, that kind of thing. And so the title of the talk formally is Our Pure Svelte Kit Blog Using Markdown, a guide from the internet, and an AI assistant. And we'll talk a bit more about what the assistant is. So we went from Figma design to the blog, which you can check out. Using.casa, using.casa. Scroll down, you'll see the blog. We've put 2 out so far. Not super insightful for you guys, but maybe for the rest of the world. Ooh. No clicker. Am I on the right thing? Scott, how do I navigate the clicks? It was working. There you go. Cool. So, some of you will be familiar with this UI. This is what Cursor's Composer looks like. I wish I could go on my laptop and scroll through my chats for you, but here's a summary of basically what I did, right? So step one, advice-wise, is when dealing with these AI agents to code for you, be blunt, be concise, be direct. I basically started by passing in an icon that I made in Svelte that is essentially just an SVG, and then a root component, and saying create a basic blog post component in this root component and make other component files where necessary for smaller details to keep everything modular. So for example, like blog post thumbnail, blog post, whatever, right? And then produce all those files for me. Trust that that happened. I will not need to show you. And then once I had the general gist of how a blog post is composed, I actually need it to be functional, right? Like the equivalent of a CMS. I need a means of putting in information. Ideally, non-technical people in the team can do that, right? So then I say, consider the contents of this website, dump in this guy who'd built a SvelteKit blog, and maybe on stream, I don't know, clearly in the Svelte community, and said, ensure we have a blog section on our homepage, again, referencing my page.svelte that is our like main root, that works when I click to a given blog post. As an engineer, I should be able to write blog posts in simple Markdown. If you guys want to visit the blog, then just head over to it. It's pretty insightful. From that alone, you could have built this, but I did this in 40 minutes, and you might have spent a couple hours, right? So it's all about just being productive and not having to write code from scratch. The main thing is just bet on, in the AGI future that we live in, hopefully they forgive us, so be as blunt and rude as you want. This is how I deal with my AI assistant. I won't repeat what I said, but it works generally. And so undo everything. You bleep, 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 bleep. You broke everything. So the blame game is okay if it's an AI. It doesn't have feelings yet. And so screenshots do work if you don't want to play in the blame game. If you want to provide a bit of guidance, then you can pass in, again, this is an example of a Figma design. There's this concept of tags, but I couldn't be bothered changing the titles. So I just put like student, 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 right? And then I pass that image in, which is what this icon is right here. And I say some like related image stuff. This prompt doesn't match with this thing, but in general, that does work. You will get something. But if you want visual consistency in your code or in whatever product that you're building, it's probably not going to work. Yes, it can produce the like .svelte files that are necessary, but it often does a pretty bad job of following style guidelines or anything like that. So I think you're better off building the logic and the structure of how something works, and then like actually wiring everything together yourself, for example, the markdown stuff, etc., as opposed to saying like, hey, just make this, right? Which might work if you're building a side project or something. It all depends on what kind of like time to productivity sacrifice you want to make. That's just a quick remark. The company itself, that kind of summarizes how I did it. I can't show you the blog, but we'll take questions, and then maybe I can answer some questions. The company itself, we use AI to simplify the rental process. Yeah, that's our hero image. 2 QRs. One of them is a prompt guide from Anthropic. It's from October 2023. So it's somewhat news that all of you should hopefully know with regards to the best prompting techniques. The other one is our product for £20 for 12 months. So it's like less than £2 a month. If you ever do need to rent anywhere in the UK over the next 12 months, I would just buy it now before we like kill this Stripe link, basically. So yeah, to me, it's like a no-brainer. I would buy it. Technically, I have it because I built it, but like, and yeah, the Anthropic guide should be useful if you are using Claude. So again, I said at the start, I used Claude Sonnet with Cursor, Cursor being the IDE of choice, and kind of prompted my way through building the blog. And then now just put in Markdown, put in my metadata, and there are posts live that you can visit on our website. Thank you. Just like? Nothing, no, nothing's live. Just, you'd have to go to the domain. Using .casa or redirect you. F12 again. Yeah.
So it's actually possible to throw in that thing that you were talking about that was quite complicated.
Yep.
About LLMs not being able to follow a style guide. It's actually possible if you throw in a bit of XML. For example, what I've done on Claude is I've said specifically what I want the LLM to do about following tachyon CSS or following Bootstrap, right? Do you know what I mean? So it's aware of those things. So if you put it in the XML, it will actually give you reasonable level of consistency.
No, just the CLD is Casa. So no blog. Yeah, no blog. Literally just get rid of the blog part. There you go. And then if you scroll to the bottom, see the blog. There we go. Up a bit. Slightly up. There you go. That's our blog post. So if you read more, that's an example. Scroll down, or mobile view. This is like what the content looks like. So it's simple markdown, and we're just formatting it. This is what the content looks like. It's simple markdown, and we're just formatting it as we want style-wise. So basically just primary color, accent color, that kind of thing. We can play with it more if we want. So you can see that we've done like the captioning of images, etc., for every thumbnail. But it's super basic. It means we don't need a CMS. Anyone in the team can add a markdown file. It's still picked up by search engines, etc. And so it's sufficient for what we need. And we can, I hope it's responsive. You can ask Scott to resize the window. Yeah. For UX testing. Any other questions about the general process or using Cursor to build logic?
Yeah, so do I understand what I saw in the slides right? So did you basically, there was a blog post that someone else had written describing how to do something, and you gave the AI a link to it and said, follow these guides. Is that something that it kind of correctly ingested all that content and followed the article correctly? That's incredibly cool.
Fundamentally, yes, that is the case. So it follows the article. It knows which packages are being used in the article. But in my case, I don't have access to my own terminal. I don't let LLMs deal with my terminal. And so packages I actually had to install. And even then, had I have shown you my like prompt history, I literally asked it like, which packages do I need to install because this isn't working? And it will say, cool, npm install md specs, which is like the markdown Svelte library. And it picked that up from the blog post, because in the blog post, he is importing that library. And so pretty much all context with regards to how to build the blog did come from someone else's blog post. Yeah. Any other questions? No? Yes, sir.
How did you auto-generate them, or is that not in place?
It is in place, but Google will hate us if we vomit too frequently. So we vomit twice a week only. And we built this last week. It's not a fully automated solution, but we basically just prompt based on keyword research. There's some tools I can tell you about that are really early stage, if you're interested. Rava HQ is one of them, RAVA HQ, really, really early, so it's free. I don't even know if you'll find it on the web. They're like these guys in California. And then the other one is a dude in London, I think, which is VA. So just Rava, RAVA. HQ. Again, good luck with that one. Really small. And then the other one is HUW.ai. And I don't know how he got that. That's the one. Nice. So they've pivoted a little to sales, but their chatbot did used to do keyword research, and now it does keyword research for sales as opposed to for blog posts. I tested them out. I think our first post was written with that guidance. The other one is HUW.ai. I don't know how you pronounce it. The guy's in the UK, as far as I remember. And it's also free up to 1,000 characters. I like his landing page. This is cool to me.
I think it's Hugh. It's a Welsh man.
Ah, okay. So he might be in Wales. UAI is another tool. But we don't have anything that is fully automated in place. Technically, we could, though, right? Like, I get what you're hinting at. It's the fact that it is marked down. We probably could just set up some cron job where twice a week we fully automate our entire like content pipeline, do some keyword research, etc. But it often takes a few months to see the results of SEO and GEO. And so if we're not noticing anything from it, it's probably not worth the 5 hours or 3 hours or however much time we're going to put into building it, right?
What is your strategy for looking at things like getting to the top of Bing and Perplexity and other search engines that are generated?
I'm trying to remember the name of a product right now. There is a company who are focused on this. They're in early access right now. You need to be an enterprise customer to onboard with them. They claim, they've read the research, which I have not read. There is a paper that got published in July on generative engine optimization. People are now claiming that they have I don't know, what do you call it? Like reverse engineered these LLMs and stuff, and they figured out how to make you rank on Perplexity, etc. Time will tell. Do we have anything in mind? No. My thesis right now is based on like abstract thinking, not technical thinking. And at an abstract level, if I think that an AI world will mirror a human world and the human world uses SEO keywords, I suspect, based on just speculation, that the AI world will also just use keywords. Maybe that's not the case architecturally. Maybe that's not the case with how we're advancing, but other companies will solve for that, right? The same way we have SEO experts now, we'll probably start to see GEO experts emerge. And if we have enough money, we can pay for someone to help us. Does that answer the question?
What exactly is it that you would expect the output of something like Perplexity to do on your platform, Casa, or Casa platform?
Real estate is too involved of a vertical, of an industry, for someone like Perplexity to spend a lot of time focused on. It's the same reason that we saw like Bing Homes generally didn't take off. Google never went into Google Homes, but they did go into flights because it was less involved of a process. And so the long-term vision, I suppose, is that Perplexity gets to the point where when someone does ask it about renting globally, that we are the source of truth for them to go to, right? Just because it's cheaper for them, it's cheaper for us. We don't have to optimize for the fronts, like the first point of entry search experience, and they don't have to optimize for the real estate specific details. Does that make sense?
So that basically means that you're essentially going to have to write a lot of content which has a very high authority ranking anyway.
It depends. We'll see what Perplexity's algorithms work like. If they are using the same thing as Google and PageRank, PageRank is obviously the way that Google works is domain authority and that kind of thing. Nobody knows if Perplexity are doing something like that, right? Time will tell. Also, Perplexity have a very, very low market share right now, so I don't think we should be optimizing for their trajectory.
Yeah, but it's great.
Disagree.
Thanks. The microphone, yeah. So the articles are written by AI. What's the quality like? Are you checking them? Are you running them past editors afterwards?
Right now, there's no one in the team who specializes in editing. The AI kind of does hallucinate. You can say hallucinate. I would say just bullshit. It does bullshit a lot. So for example, with our product, it started to say things that just weren't true. It would be like, we're 200% faster than anything else on the market. And I'm like, there's no data for that, right? We can tell you that, yeah, sure, but I don't want to lie. I want to keyword rank. There is a difference. So generally, we proofread it. We edit out anything that we think is just fundamentally untrue. If it's something which is just like optimizing for keywords, realistically, the idea here is not someone that goes on these blogs and deeply reads through them in detail. It's that if someone is searching for something that we can pick up on, that they can use our product, because we are very much convinced we're the fastest way for someone to find a place to rent. Does that answer it a little bit?
So when you reach a large enough number of articles, will you have it learning from your own articles, like picks up your style if you have one, but like, so also because if you have corrected enough articles, you will know what it's true if you learn from your own articles. Or
that's a very good point. The truth and evaluating the output of kind of having a system in place. Suppose that we are to build a system which is LLM entirely the way through that produces content, and that is part of a growth strategy for SEO and GEO. How true that is depends on if we double down on that as a growth strategy, I think. And so I don't think this is something we'll do long term, right? If we had 1,000 articles, there's no incentive to go from 1,000 to 2,000 if we're not seeing any difference an extra 100 in, right? Like humans are only searching for n number of keywords. For example, 2 bedrooms in Islington. If that's 90% of search traffic in Islington, there's no need for us to write another 50 blog posts about it, because PageRank doesn't care. PageRank cares about our domain authority, it cares about how many people backlink to that blog post. So we'd probably start optimizing for other things, not for the quality of the content itself. Does that answer the question a bit? Cool. Anybody else? Final remarks? No? Bring on the backlinks. Yeah, help us backlink. Yeah, for sure. Thank you, guys.
Last one, Rowan, and excellent job with the holding the tiny microphone. Brilliant. I like to use my hands, so I'm going to put this back on here. Okay, it's me next. So, sorry, not sorry. Right, we'll come on to why I'm talking. I am talking about AI as well. So, yay, AI. But we'll come on to this. And guess who wrote the title? It wasn't me. It was Claude after I fed it some stuff. Camera works. Yeah, I've totally lost my train of thought on the first slide. Nice. Right, so the origin of this talk was the WhatsApp group here. If you're not in the WhatsApp group and you want to join, speak to any of us, any of the ambassadors, Kane, or Willow, or myself, we'll get you a link to join. You can ask all your Svelte questions you want to ask. This needed to be a lot bigger so everyone could read it. Basically, it was me saying if I could center a talk around using AI and Svelte. And then essentially, Rowan was like, what's this MCP thing? And also Alvin, who isn't here, but this talk's for you guys, so you're welcome. And again, back to me stepping in here. It was super short notice, so again, thanks to Aris for helping us out with a venue for January. Really appreciate it. And I know we've got Scott and Andrew lined up with a ton of talks, but it was literally those guys speaking for the last 3 meetups or so. So I just stepped in with this one. I didn't see anyone take their phone out, especially, what was your name? Elliot. Yeah, you come up with some really good suggestions for a talk. So if you scan that, that will take you through to the Svelte Society London repo, where you can suggest a talk to give. You can give a lightning talk, like Rowan just did, or you can give a longer talk. Talk about whatever you like, as long as it's Svelte related. Moving on. Okay, me. Let's talk about me. Because it's really the only reason why I do these. I'm joking. I'm not a complete narcissist. But I co-founded this meetup. I am going to take that now, even though it was Anthony who started it, but he hasn't been here for the last year or so. So I'm going to take that. I'm an engineering team lead at a company called ExtendOps. ExtendOps does business process outsourcing, and we help resolve our clients' issues for them with call center staff and AI tools. So if you want to know more about that, come hit me up later, and I'll be happy to talk you through it. And also Willow, who works with me as well. I'm a dad, 20 years now. My daughter's not 20, so I've been married 20 years. And I'm also a cat dad. And the reason why I'm not going to dox myself and show pictures of my family on YouTube or whatever, but I'm going to show you pictures of my cats, because last time I was pulled up for not showing pictures of my cats. So, sorry, this is Darcy. This is Long Darcy. This is Leo, 1 orange brain cell, if you know the Reddit. Here he is doing his best puss impression from Shrek. And we've got Boris, who, if Leo's got 1 brain cell, Boris doesn't have any. He's a complete derp. There he is, being very photogenic. And we've got 2 new cats. We've got Jade, who's just a completely black cat, and she is very noisy. And we've got Barney, who likes to vibe like this. Both together, and a very rare picture of all 5 of them together in my kitchen. Anyway, if you want to see more cat pictures from me and everyone else in the Svelte community, and you're on Blue Sky, there's a starter pack. You can scan that, and I think you could just follow everyone who is in, like, an ambassador, who I know personally, or who does really good Svelte content. I don't see if I'm getting a camera. Were you gonna? Right, okay. Well, I didn't see any cameras coming out, so I was like, oh, let's just move on then. Okay, everyone got that? We're moving on. Right. This slide was in the opening slides, right? Someone? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right. So let's get to the talk now. 5 minutes after rambling. So MCP tools. Why do we need them? So we need to talk about the problem first, which is AI assistants are generally lived in the past, and I think this is the only other slide which AI wrote. Everything else is me, or AI assistants will do this. They'll jump to a solution before understanding the problem and just give you code anyway. So with a relatively new framework like Svelte 5, this just isn't going to cut it. And then cut back to Rowan and his ranting. His was quite tame to some of the stuff I prompt. But this all goes back to the base knowledge of an LLM. An LLM will always rely on its base knowledge first. This is why it always tries to jump to a solution before even listening to you. If you don't want to just talk about things, and it's like, no, I'll give you a solution. Get off my back. So when there's stuff which is new, that obviously there's a knowledge cutoff with most LLMs, and in the case of Claude here, I said, tell me about Svelte 5, and it did. It's like, yeah, I'll tell you a load of stuff about Svelte 5, but it also admits that the cutoff time was April 2024, and Svelte 5 was released in October 2024. So that's 6 months. So the information it has, I mean, there's been a lot of changes, I guess, to the framework since then. We haven't got the full picture. So you've got limited information which you're working with. A lot of the time when you say to an LLM, give me a reactive state file with 2 components which are sharing state, so I'm not prop drilling. They go, sure, and it will make 2 components and share the state between the 2 components. And it doesn't really understand the basis of the whatever .svelte.ts file and how they work for universal reactivity. This is because there's usually a training bias as well. So if it's got limited information on Svelte 5, but a lot more information on Svelte 4, it's going to lean towards that. And this is why context is everything, with loading up your LLM with as much information as possible to begin with, so it has a good sort of grounding to work with. Anyone here know Stanislav Kromhov? This guy? Stanislav is making some excellent content at the moment on Svelte, so go check out his YouTube. And specifically this video here, which you can use this link here to view it. And in the video, he goes over some of the stuff which I've just spoken about, where there's the training data is cut off. You haven't got a great deal of information, and you need to essentially load up the chat with as much context as possible before it can sort of join stuff up for you. And when it has that, it does a really good job. In that video, he spoke about essentially turning the Svelte docs into LLM-friendly file format, so it can be parsed relatively easily. That's not why it says LLMs.txt. LLMs.txt is like a new proposal for large language models. For sites which want to have their information crawled and ingested by LLMs, it's just a proposal to put that information into an LLMs.txt file. And Svelte have already done that. They've done it for everything. There's like, and there's a compressed version. So in that video, I think Stanislav uses the small text here to put into a Claude project. And he takes that file, drags and drops it into a Claude project, and the knowledge base for that Claude project goes from 0 to like 95%, because it's a lot of information. But then he prompts it and he gets some really good results out of it. So that's a good way to go. So the Claude project, if you're not familiar, these come out September, maybe last year. I don't know exactly, but this is like the first one you see. You get a prompting guide, and then essentially, so this is one I've done for model context protocol stuff. In here, you can sort of drop in your content, and you can drop in files. So you can see this one here. This is of all the model context protocol projects I built with Cline when I was first getting, familiar with making MCP tools. And it was about, I don't know, six projects with an index file. And that was it. And then you can see it's in XML because I made a project to take any GitHub repository, scan through it, turn it into XML, so you could put it into a Claude project like this, so it gets the context it needs. Sorry, MC.
That very large file.
That is it's a repository of like I said, 6 MCP tools. I'm going to come on to that. I'm going to come on to what an MCP tool is. Sorry, if I maybe should have had a bit more pre-information on that. But yeah, this is just me loading up a project with that, and you get mixed results. I mean, and again, it goes back to the. I'm just going to spit out the first answer I find, and just to give you stuff just to keep you quiet, or just to keep you prompting. I'm convinced it's a conspiracy that you just get continually, degrading sort of information back from an LLM sometimes, just to make you prompt it more. Anyway, so to get that project, I made something called Repair to XML, which isn't a SvelteKit project; it's a Dino project. Which just uses the Dino file system API, strips out all the information, puts it into a big XML file. And I wonder what Stanislav thinks of that. He just gave me some assets, so I thought I'd better put that in there, and I haven't really arranged them too much. Anyway, EM's model context protocol tools. These were introduced in November last year. And it essentially, an MCP tool is, someone said, like a USB-C for your LLM, which is great. When I found out about this, this was in November. I was like, yeah, I didn't really get it. And then I took a look through this, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not sure how to use them really, or what to do from there. And I saw a couple of really interesting YouTube videos about how to do it, how to use it effectively with some really good prompting. And then I sort of got stuck into that side of it. So on their GitHub, there is a long list of tools you can use. And each one is great. I'm going to come on to Puppeteer right down at the bottom here soon. But yeah, essentially you just hook them up to your Claude desktop. And that's essentially it. Simple. But I found that I use Windows subsystem for Linux. I'm a Linux user, but I have to use Windows because it works with stuff. Works better than Mac and Linux. I am cursing this bloody webcam. It's because I'm a fidgeter. I fidget, and it's just like I can't do it, mate. Can't keep track here. Anyway, where was I? Oh, MCP with Windows. Because I refuse to install Node on Windows, because Node on Windows is a sin. You shouldn't use it. And just Windows in general for any sort of web development work is just don't do it, because it just causes all sorts of problems. And yeah, your life's just a lot easier if you just use Linux in Windows. But I worked out how to get it running. In this post here, there's like config information on how to do it. Basically, you just call in WSL and then pass a load of command line options to it, and I'll get it working if you're interested. But that's taking the camera out, so I'll just move to the next slide. In that list, you saw that it was Puppeteer. So once I finally got these MCP tools working, Puppeteer was for if you wanted to get some information from a web page or interact with it. Now, 99.999% of the time, I just want to get the information from the web page and give it to the LLM. Puppeteer was slow. It was really slow. You have to wait for it to spin up. Then you have to wait for it to go, oh, I'm on a web page. Okay. And then you have to wait for it to understand where it was and then find things on the page. It was just horrible. So I decided to just make my own thing. There should be what's it called? Yeah, some meme in there, but it's not. It literally said, the slide said some meme before I actually put the words in. Anyone heard of Gina? Gina AI? You think so?
The limits are so high, it's free. That's fishy.
Yes. Are you complaining about getting?
I think this is a government, some foreign government, collecting everything.
I just want to read web pages with it. That's all I want to do. So we've got the Reader API. There's also a Search API, and there's also a Grounding API. Embeddings, re-ranker, classifiers, segmenter, I've not looked into them at all. But as Rowan said, you get just a ton of credits, a crazy amount of credits. And you just go off, get your key here, and use it to your heart's content. So essentially with Gina, you have your normal URL and you just put in r.gina.ai, and then it will spit out LLM friendly output for you to use. Don't need an account, you just need a key. Yeah, unless you want to pay. But everyone gets a key. Yeah, but have you seen the pricing? The pricing afterwards, it goes like, I think it's like $5 for 10 million requests. And then after that, it's crazy money after that. But it's good.
Spin out incognito.
Yes. I've gone through 3, I think, at the moment. Anyway. I can go back. Yeah. Where is it? Here, Gina.
What is it? Provides a bunch of APIs for AI-related things like pulling away or embed.
You're using this like a proxy for other websites to feed information into LLM to get their context.
Yes. So yeah, going back to the context is everything slide. This is what I am. Yeah, because I don't want to wait around for Puppeteer to spin up and for it to go, oh, okay, is this where I need to click, or is this where I need to click? It is painful watching an LLM trying to use a browser, and then I know there's companies saying, yeah, we've got browser use and it works fantastic, and I just think it's they're not telling the truth, I don't think, because it's painfully slow. I haven't tried Playwright, which I'm guessing it'd be around the same. Anyway, Claude interface. You might have noticed earlier in the slide, there was this little bit in the corner. Who uses Claude like every day? Nick, you were sort of certain there, then you didn't see anyone else put their hand up, so you went, oh. I use Claude. I went off OpenAI a while back, but anyway, let's go back to this slide. You might have noticed this. This is the tools I have installed on this Claude desktop. So if I click on that button here, it will show me all of the MCP tools I've got installed, and there's a few. Brave Search, which is it's pretty good. And then you'll notice these ones prefixed with MCP. These are ones I've made. So I made one for Perplexity, which uses the new Sona model, which is like just check completion. Can be great. It can just take forever to spin up a reply, and it just times out. Because I use WSL, I can get Claude to literally work on my work. So I can say, go to this repository, add this to this file from Claude. When I sort of first started doing it, I make quite a few just to get a feel for how it works. I use, so this memory libSQL one was one for work, where we have a specific project where I need to store information, but other people on other parts of the team also need to store information as well. So libSQL allows you to push that database up to Terso. Anyone who's got an auth key and a link to that file can then share that information. So this information, whatever it might be, it's essentially just memory for your chats. So you can have one long chat, you can commit a load of information to memory, close that chat, go into another chat and say, find this in the database, and it'll go find it for you. Pretty neat. Haven't really used it that much, to be honest. It was more of a fact of, can I do it? You'll see Svelte docs on there. We'll come on to that. This one here was the simplest one to start, but it's been like the one which has just taken up so much of my time, and I'm just giving up on it. And you see I've got some search ones, Perplexity, Tavily. Who knows what Tavily search is? Tavily search is excellent. Try it out. It's like Gina AI, but I didn't think it was sus. But it's like Gina AI, but you need to give them your details and give them your payment details. So a bit less sus, I guess. Anyway, sequential thinking tools. We'll be looking at this one in a bit. I essentially copy-pasted, I adapted the sequential thinking MCP tool from that GitHub repo with all of the official tools. I'll tell you why I did that in a bit. But after I did all that, I made a blog post which goes over pretty much everything I'm talking about here. You can scan that link if you want to, just to get a bit more background information. It'll give you, there'll be links to videos in there which go over using MCP tools. There's a great prompt pinned to one of those videos, which you can put into either your general project instructions or just like your general Claude settings. So every time it starts up, it will follow those instructions to begin with, and I'll show you them in a bit as well. I don't want to talk about this. It's been a pain. Yes, but it's not, and it's terrible, and I don't want to talk about it any more than that. Okay, so you can try it. When we come on to some of the demos, you'll probably see it, try to use it, and you can see how terrible it is. And I'll go into what that is. But anyway, this talk was meant to be about staying current, and I've just been ranting about how to use Claude and prompt it and use MCP tools. But developers love tools. Who loves a good tool? Right. It's fantastic. It's a great thing to know. Keir Starmer's dad was a tool maker. Brilliant. He didn't make Cursor though. Rowan did a great job of the demoing how to use Cursor. So who isn't familiar with Cursor? Okay, so with Cursor, you get a chat and a composer and tab. You might have heard people being, what's the word for it, derogatory about tab developers, because every time you open up a page, it will just give you a tab, and it's usually always right. So you go, okay, great, tab, complete. Anyway, chat, you can give chat a load of context, and it will offer up information. You can see here, you can copy the code, or you can apply it directly to the file, which is really handy. But in the Composer view, you can do the same as chat, and Composer also has this agentic Composer now as well. So there's like vanilla Composer and agentic Composer. I've just been using agentic Composer now since I found out I could get it to run my tests for me. So there's, at the end of the day, I'll just click a button now. But the composer, you load it up with all your context. You can point it to specific files and folders. You can tell it to go to the web to get information. There's a whole section where you can effectively embed websites. So I point it to the Svelte docs. I point it to many other places, and you can say refer to these docs in the prompt, and it will go off and get that information for you. And it should make a good stab at what you wanted to do. Now this is great for large code bases. You can bring in a lot of context and get it to do a lot of good stuff. Where I work, this is mandated. We have to use this, and it's not cheap. £20 a month, £200 a year. And that's for fast requests. Any other requests you get from it are free. And we're going to mention DeepSeek, and I'm going to no, not yet, Scott. No. Right, we're going to look at the cursor change log. I'll come on to you, mate. Sorry, but we're going to look at the latest changes, and then we're going to see DeepSeek's in here. And then, oh no, you can't use the DeepSeek API because basically it's essentially what Rowan was saying for Gina AI. They're just sucking up all the information. So they've hosted their models in the US. They've self-hosted this. So you could go into Claude now and use DeepSeek if you wanted to, which for my non-work stuff I will be doing. We've been told very, very strongly not to use DeepSeek. Sorry, Scott. Sorry, mate. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was mid-flow. Could I what? Sorry? What do you mean? Feed it in and get it to do it? Yes. Yes.
But the way that you just described that list of spoon feeding to cursor.
Yeah.
You do as you
Possibly, but there's like a squillion, mcbillion other YouTube channels doing it as well. So, thank you. That's encouraging. So maybe, but probably not. Sorry, but maybe. Yes.
Real quick, what is the difference in cursor and VS Code with the Copilot plugin?
That's it.
Yeah. What?
That is it.
What do you mean?
It is just a Copilot plugin built into VS Code.
Previously Copilot did file change.
Now that it does, what's the point of using
the extension.
Microphone?
Express API was pretty limited when it comes to what the AI could do on top of VS Code. So at that point in time, they had no other option but to just like work VS Code and then.
So Cursor is actually a fork of VS Codium, not VS Code. And I know that because it always had the VS Codium logo in the top left-hand corner, and it only recently changed like over the last 3 or so days. But effectively what it is an LLM inside VS Code, and you're paying for the API key to use whichever sort of LLM you want to use. So I'll go into when I open up the editor, I'll go into that. I can show you the available models and how stuff's been embedded and things like that. Anyway, I want to talk about Cline. Anyone heard of Cline? It was called Claude, but it's now called Cline, and it's a VS Code extension which I use in Cursor. So with Claude, yes. So do you remember that big list of all the MCP tools I made? This was me. Cline, make me a tool, and for some reason, I'm pretty sure it's because they've got the MCP documentation embedded in it. I haven't checked out the code, so I could just be completely bullshitting. But it was excellent at making these MCP tools, whereas Cursor just struggled really badly. Even with the MCP documentation embedded in Cursor and it could reference that information, it was absolutely shit. But Cline, so expensive. I mean, I have to emphasize it with more emojis because it was super duper expensive. I think I have spent more, well, I think I have spent my annual Cursor subscription in Cline credits already. And I started using Cline in November, maybe. So you have to use it sparingly. This is why I started using Claude and Cline. So I started using Claude and Cline together because I couldn't just use Cline all the time because it's just like, yeah, this is just, it's excellent. It is. I would, if I could, I would use it all the time. But let's just do a demo. Hang on, demo. No, let's go to a demo and I can show you. Just get up my back. God. Right. Let's look at the. So the workflow for me is I don't actually have a terminal open. This is going to be fun. Where's my terminal? Oh, it's here. Right. Right. What I'm going to do is create a new Svelte project, which is going to be called Delete Me. And I'm going to push Enter instead of Shift. And then we're going to see how good the Wi-Fi is here. So yes, 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 and that's it. And yes. Right. So while that is installing, oh boy. Oh, it's quite fast, the Wi-Fi, right? Oh man, so right, basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bootstrap a fresh Svelte kit project. It could just be Svelte because that's probably all the tool is gonna look at. But once this is installed, you might need an intermission. Even though I'm using PNPM, it's just like nah. Is the stream okay? Willow? It's okay, yeah. It's just terrible. Right. Well, so I'm going to top right. Let's just go to Claude. I haven't got Claude open either, so let's open up Claude. And this is my actual Claude. And you can see at the moment I've got 18 tools rather than however many in the other one, like 26. So no one's familiar with this at the moment. Okay. Right, you'll see some of these here. This is my memory tool, and it's just like literally delete specific relation, execute command, fine. Ground statement. This gets a bit more wordy. Wait till we get up to search docs. Right, so who is it I was telling I was traumatized by this? Scott. Right, so essentially when you have this in the schema, this is like a pre-prompt for for Claude when it comes into it. So it's like, okay, I need to search the Svelte documentation, and then this here is a prompt to tell it how to use the tool. And this goes on for a bit, and it still ignores it, which how do I manage state? Don't query for that. Instead, query state management runes. I don't know why the cross is there though. Maybe it's the emojis bit at the start. Anyway, it goes through how to do, how Claude should use it. Okay, we're set up. Fantastic. I'll stop waffling. Let's go into delete me, and let's. I also want to install Daisy UI. Daisy UI. Here we go. Who likes Daisy UI here? 2 people. Yes. Right, let's open up Cursor. Yeah, so it's going to open up Cursor. Yes, and maybe I'll just. Right, we can look at this together. As cursor's opened up on this screen, of course it has, and now I'm disoriented. Right, so obviously you can see from the terminal, I've done this a couple of times before. So this project here is bootstrapped, and it's literally just the empty Svelte starter. So I want to put in Daisy UI here, and then hope it hasn't installed Daisy UI. Hope it hasn't installed Tailwind 4. You can see like tab, brilliant, tab, fantastic. Okay, so now I can let's just run the dev server straight away, and we'll go to here and open up the project. Right, cool. So when I opened up Claude earlier, it's really sort of weird clicking around on two screens when they are in the wrong order, or like I haven't moved the screens around basically. So anyway, if we go to the options in Claude, which are Command comma, and then go to developer tools, and we can see the edit config. You see all the tools I've got installed here, and then essentially that's just opened up the file location of this file, which I believe is this one here, Claude Desktop. Now I have intentionally left out or moved my my environment keys, because like essentially if you want to use a service which needs an environment key, you have to hard code it into your config here. And I wasted about, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours on Sunday trying to come up with a tool which was just going to mask my secrets. And then I found out that decorators in VS Code only loaded after the tab was selected. So yeah, that was a tragic day. That was anyway. It was just I was very cross with who was I doing it with? I was doing it with Cline. Anyway, Cline's over here. So this is the VS Code. Let's just do a quick tour of Cursor as well. So if I do Control J, no, Control Shift J, right. You can see I've got an account. I haven't actually put any rules in here. My work one and my personal, like my PC at home, it's got loads of Svelte 5 specific stuff in here. And we're probably actually not going to see any. So we've got code base indexing. So it essentially embeds your whole code base for you. So you can say, look at the code base and find X and Y, and it will get information. Docs, yeah, I haven't added anything for the docs, but if I go into here and I put in the Svelte documentation here, it will index it, and then you'll be able to refer to the docs in here. So if I was to go to the not the chat, the composer, new composer, and I could say using the docs, and then this has got some pre-cached ones as well. So I could say, Amazon EC2, make it not suck, or stuff like that. But I don't really want to talk about this too much, and I'm just looking at the time. Why won't this go away? Why can't I close it? Close. L. Oh. Oh, right. Anyway, so I want to talk about Cline, which is this little tool over here. And I'll also talk about the pre-prompting I've done. So we can, close here. So we can look at the previous projects I have done. So this is, basically you can see all of the slides, which I've been talking about. There you go. But I did give a lot of pre-information anyway, which is just regurgitating the same stuff. So here's my sort of volunteered myself for a chat, for a talk, a lot of context, and then it's using the tools I've given it, and then where'd that title come from? Hey, okay, so I've gone through this and thought, okay, this is great, and it's helped me with the planning for the talk. But outside of this, I went off and did I actually say here? Yeah, I want to come back to shaping this later. I want to summarize this so far in an artifact so I can look at the work. So essentially, I took this artifact here. An artifact is just like a markdown file or a code file which you can export for you. You can copy it or publish. What is that? Anyway, I've not seen that before. But I essentially went off and did some pre-prompting. It's essentially, I've got all these MCP tools, and I want you to use these MCP tools to do some certain things, which was use Genius AI, find the latest blog post, read that blog post, identify specific Svelte 5 features, and make a project. So coming back to the context stuff, you'll notice down here, we've got like, okay, it doesn't really need to know that. You know, you could get that from reading stuff. Every time event handlers, it will always put a colon in event handlers. So this has to be put in there as like, you must do this. And I'm saying that I'm using Daisy UI. So this information here should give Cline everything it needs to know to make something. So with Cline, we've got these two modes here. So I could plan this, or I could just say, go off and do it. I've found recently, if I tell it to plan, it's a bit more thoughtful about what it does. Is this like really too big? Should I make this a bit smaller, or is this just right? That too small? Right, because there's going to be a lot of stuff going on over here, so I need to make this bigger. So that's that prompt. And rather than just going off and just willy-nilly trying to do something, I want it to think about what it's doing first. So at the moment, doing this, it's just going to evaluate all the information it can, come up with a plan, and then say, can I go now? And sometimes I'll say yes, sometimes I'll say no, absolutely not. So you can see it going through this stuff quite quickly. Let's just try and go back to this. This looks like sequential thinking. Sequential thinking tools. So this essentially, this is saying to the LLM, you can use me, tell me what tools you currently have access to, and I will tell you which ones to use. And you can also notice on there, it's got auto approve, and I've got auto approve down here. So maybe I'll just uncheck that for now. So I have to approve stuff as we go through it. So it's going through, it's doing its chain of thought, thinking on this, and it's coming out with more things it thinks it should do. And eventually it will come from this, it's doing more sequential thinking with its thoughts. No, absolutely not. No. It's right. So I adapted the sequential thinking tools, because there's one called sequential thinking. I adapted sequential thinking tools to prompt the LLM to say what tools it has available to it, so it can go into the sequential thinking. Yeah, we're going to watch this fly. This is look at this context window, right? Look at this cost. I've already spent 20p, and it's not even decided what's going to do yet. So, but this is what we'll look at the results, and we'll decide what we think. But it's gone off and it's gone to the Svelte blog, and it's identified a blog post, and it's read that blog post, and it's asking me now to go further. So I'm just going to approve this. I'll try and commentate as we go through it to what else is happening. But we will watch that price sort of whiz up. So that's sequential thinking again. How many people, this is your life now, just watching a prompt to its thing while you're just clicking the button? Yeah, the emojis, not like, you saw how many emojis there were? Well, I could not use a sequential thinking, I guess. because
Okay, so the virtual thinking itself is a big tool.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But it's not a big tool that you wrote by hand. The big tool that itself is also big.
yes,
Okay.
because each one of these is a call.
Right, right.
So this should give us a lot more thought through, context to begin with.
Have you tried this with O1?
No, I don't think O1 works with it, with computer use models. So now it's got to the end here. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm going to do some stuff, and it's saying this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to demonstrate how inspect trace works to understand and receive dependencies. Right. I want this because I know this is on this blog post. I'm just going to ask it to work, because every time I've done this in the past, it's gone, look at the browser output for inspect trace. I'm like, no, I want it to be visual because it's a presentation, so people need to see shit. Okay, so it's gone, yeah, okay, I'll do that, whatever. And now it's like act. And this is when it shouldn't take as long now. I didn't actually see at the top if it used TypeScript or not. It did, good. I had to put in specific instructions to say every script tag must have DS in it, because the Svelte documentation, I think it defaults to JS still. So that's where the examples come from. So let's just see what it looks like. Where is, oh, okay, cool. So I've seen this in, I was really impressed with one earlier because it actually did a like a shopping cart with using state pretty well. And I was like, this looks great. What's it done here? What's this? What was that at the bottom? Debug panel. I can't, it's just too expensive. How much am I at now? Look, 40p. I can't, I'd be broke, I'd have no money. So looking at this, it looks like it's made a component.
So you could use it for anything that you feel is useful, not just playing around.
I've made a load of MCP tools with it. It's been really good at making MCP tools. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this is what we've got now. So let's look. Increment count is just like the worst flipping. What is this? Term result trace. What is this meant to do? I know, but this isn't. Okay. So I've generally got much better. Oh, it's decided it's not finished. Hang on. Hang on. Let me modify the debug panel. Yeah, it's still working on the debug panel. Right, it might get there.
I think you can hear a whole herd of polar bears swimming.
we can hear a whole lake being drained, being evaporated. So it hasn't realised it needs to use derived by there. So let's just go back up to that and derived. Because that was a big sigh. Who was that sigh from? Wow. It needs to use derived by here. Yes, by. And that should do that. Resume. Well, I'm hoping it's going to understand from just me correcting that one bit there. It's going to go, oh, yeah, you choose derived by. No, it's not. No, it's not. Okay, so usually at this point, I would just go, right, you're done, mate. And you're not using the browser, no way. I mean, we could look at that and we could just see how slow it is, but I think like a lot more people are left by then as well. So it's saying it's done. It's like, yeah, I'm done. I've done it. Look, let's see what we got. Yeah, multiply. Yeah, there's nothing happening down here. Is it still broken? Right, right. usually with the plan, I've seen a lot better results from that. But did I initialize? No, I didn't initialize the Git repository. Okay, I'm not going to Control Z all that because that took a while. Let's just try.
Still using Claude compute use, right? So that's how it has an.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm surprised it actually didn't use the Svelte dev tools. I haven't looked it up to a GitHub repo, but I'm surprised it didn't use the Svelte MCP tool because it's definitely in here. Where is it? Docs. Yeah, here it is. So it's definitely in here, so it could access it, but it's just. Yeah, it's been a bit traumatic trying to get that to work. Okay, do we want to say it one more time and see if it comes up with something better, or do you want us to ask questions? Right, okay, I'm done. So clap for me. Pardon? Half a pound? Oh no, that's sometimes that's reasonable. Oh, look at that thing. Yeah, you did it right there. Yeah. But yeah, it can get pretty bad. This context window thing's quite good though now, because if it's just where is it? Where's it gone? There was like a little progress bar to show how much of the context you're taking out. Didn't say that before. That's good. It was a super open-ended task though. If you go back to the prompt, where's it gone? You go back to this. I'm just saying, just go off to a website, find some information from that website, find something, and then make something out of it.
You send you this link on your WhatsApp.
You don't want me to make it?
Did you make it?
What, an Excel sheet?
No, I did it already.
Oh,
just open this link.
On here?
Yeah.
Uh,
So whoever signed up on this form and gave their email, I created like a spinning wheel, and you're gonna win a ticket for CTJS. But you have to add your email there.
Right, let me get this done. I'm pretty sure everyone has. Hang on. How do I get it from here to here? Don't worry, Aris. I got it. Just don't worry. Save draft. So everyone watching on YouTube, we're just doing a quick prize draw for a CityJS ticket. Drafts and this, and copy that, and let's go back over to here where it was. This one, right? Go here. Do. Right. How do we do it?
So you just click on the wheel.
Everyone ready? What, just here?
It's the first 3 letters of your email.
Oh, that's loud. Woo! Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. What were we doing before?
Questions about MCP and compute.
No, but like it was something specific, and I was getting something out on my computer to look at. Brian, what was it you asked? Yes. It was super open-ended. Essentially, I'm just saying, go to the Svelte dev blog. Based on the documentation, implement a focused demo that uses newly discovered feature. So whatever it found on that page, it's going to implement it, and that trace, whatever it was on there. Yeah.
What is the benefit of using MC? Oh, What is the benefit of using MCP or having access to the tools on your computer when a lot of this is happening in the web? So like what I'm thinking is why you couldn't use, I don't know, Replit Agent or Wordware or Code Words or any of these things where it's doing the same thing of reasoning and going and taking action, but without using your local machine, which I think is what this is doing, right?
Those words you said, I don't know what any of them were.
Why is there a benefit to using your local machine as opposed to someone who's providing this as a service at much lower cost? As in, what is an example of something it's using?
Local machine. It's not. Nothing's local.
No, aren't these servers, these MCP things?
Oh,
the context for that is from your machine.
Yeah, they're running on.
So I could give it access to like Spotify.
Those running on my machine are actually going to an API.
So it's cost for cost's sake.
It's just access to the API.
Okay.
Essentially.
Cool.
So there was a load of ones which didn't need like an API key on there, which are at the top of here, which are the sequential thinking one and memory lib SQL, but I can't scroll down any further because I've got an environment key underneath that.
So you could use this for things beyond the web. So I could say like clean up my gallery once a week, or maybe not a cron job, but just like
yes, absolutely, yeah.
Getting it to take action
that
based
link
on.
I shared to that blog post.
Yep.
There's a really good video on there with like a prompt which I've God, I keep doing that, which I adapted. Well, I've iterated on it like so many times now, but it's essentially like always use. That's wrong. I want to go to the settings. See that? So this is the settings, but then down here, this is the settings too. Settings, but these are different settings. Anyway, so if we look at my, yeah, these are different on here. So at the moment,
those things work really well. Anybody?
Yeah. Let me find my GitHub gist, which gist, where I haven't actually got a QR code for this, but I think it's in that blog post, which I do have a QR code for. MCP general instructions. So this is very specific to what I want to use it for. Ignore this stuff. I think this is like literally what is in like the predefined settings. But proactive tool integration. So this is when I'm using Claude Desktop. This isn't Cline. So Claude Desktop is the £18 a month subscription. So I can ask it to do the same things which Cline did in Cursor there. But is this? I think I've moved off from this one because it was just being weird. And that really simple prompt I had just works really well with sequential thinking because it offers up the tools it has, tells you how to use them. So like I said with that, what? Oh, here it is. That chat I had, which was this one. I did a load of pre-prompting to get to this prompt here. And then that was using the tools inside Claude, so I didn't have to burn through, stupid money just to do things in Cline. So I think this is a really good balance between being able to research a lot of information up front in Claude, and then being able to put that into a prompt, which I'd really like Cursor to use MCP. And if they do, that's just going to be a killer feature, because on top of their the documentation embedding, the indexing of the code base, and being able to use the web, it doesn't tell you how it uses the web. It just say use the web, find this information, and it sort of comes back with sort of good results. The reason why I'm so keen on Cline is because a lot of the time it does the job really well. You can just do a one shot a lot of the time, and it will go off and do it. But yeah, you all right? Yeah, okay. Questions? Any more? Yes.
Really good at making the actual tools for then you to put into Claude.
Yes.
Why specifically aren't you using something like DeepSeek for that?
Because DeepSeek was only added to. Because they don't have computer use. So I think it's only Claude 3 beta.
They not so does Cline not have Open Router?
I use Open Router.
So could you use like Llama with that or something?
Possibly. I mean, this is the thing. I tried to use DeepSeek locally with Cline, and it was just the worst. I'm not sure what you need to do to it to actually get it into a good state, but that was over the weekend, and it just liked to repeat back what my environment was and what my preferences were. It didn't actually, the prompt I gave it, it just ignored it. And it was just telling me loads of information about the environment I was in, what files are in the project, and what my preferences were. And it just went off and just ignored what I asked it to do. So that's been my experience. What I want to do is use DeepSeek in a large personal project to get it to iterate across all of the files I have in a database, sequence stuff, join stuff up together, put that into a plan document for like a feature I want to have, use DeepSeek to build up that, markdown document of all the information which it should be doing. Then when I'm ready to execute, switch over to a model which has computer use and basically isn't Cline, so in Cursor, and get it to make the changes for me. So yeah, but I haven't got to that. So I'm don't know what was the question.
Why are you doing like doing a lot of the
Yes.
obviously it works.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to do, but I couldn't work out that cheaper way to do it. It just seemed that Claude Sonnet Beta 3, whatever it is, which that just worked really well in Cline. Anytime I tried the same model in Claude, just shut the bed. Just didn't do anything anywhere near as good. So even when like that project I looked at, where's my mouse gone? Where is it? Yeah, this one here. No. Project. Oh boy. Is it here? Right. Okay. MCP tools. Here. I for where is here? Right. Okay. Right. So in here I had like essentially a boilerplate for an MCP project. It'd have the TS config, have the index file, have every dependency it would need. I would tell it every time we don't need node fetch. Native fetch is now available in Node. Don't use that. And then every time it would just go install this, use this, and then have it as a dependency, and it just wouldn't work. It's exactly the same model. I just don't know why. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
Just a quick question. So earlier you mentioned that with Cursor you could add the Svelte docs lms.txt and just use that as a basis for like creating a project, right?
Yep.
When it comes to comparing that with an MCP tool to automatically fetch the Svelte docs and search for it each time, wouldn't that be like a loss of efficiency in some sense, where compared to just like fetching the lms.txt and then searching through that instead of like browsing for the web each time?
Yes. And this is the thing. I thought we could just have all that information in context.
Right.
But it always wants to go back to its base knowledge. And it's got the biases there of all of the pre-existing stuff.
Yeah, so actually, another option there, which I was wondering while you were presenting is, so given the fact that, it knows Svelte 3 and it knows Svelte 3 and 4 are basically more or less the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you compared, like creating a project in Svelte 3 or 4 and then using the Svelte 5 migration tool to like having it generate a brand new Svelte 5 project each time? Would the migration tool be faster?
I don't want to. This is the thing. It's like that was just like a toy sort of demo. I don't really want it to generate a new project each time. I want it to have the context of everything that is in the Svelte 5 documentation. And I think it goes back to the bias where it's just going to go, no, I'm going to give you the information which I think is best, which is biased towards. But let's just go to adding this into Cursor, and I think it was Control-Shift-J. If I go to the documentation here, wherever that was, down, do I go? Oh, it's in features. So this is like my, I don't really use this account much, so there's not a great deal on here. But you can see the code base has been indexed, so I could like essentially ask, oh, what is this?
It does have MCP servers, yeah.
No! Oh.
Yeah. They just mentioned it as a footnote in last week's change log.
Oh, it needs to be an SSE endpoint.
It's got all the tokens from Scott.
Oh my God. The beta cat's like, thank you. Oh, that's exciting. And let's go over to the docs here and
At the elements.txt file.
That's a good shout. That is a good shout. I was just going to add that, but let's. I mean, I think that does that anyway. It will.
Because it has a problem with like crawling through all of this verified docs. So instead of doing that, you could just like pass in the elements.txt there.
Yeah. I think so. Full.
Probably want to go with this more.
No. I'm gonna go with this one. For anyone who is interested, you can see this has already been. So I'm guessing they've got this on the server somewhere. This has already been indexed. So 62 pages and it's indexed already. Let's see if anyone's added this though. What is here? Oh, whatever. Oh, really? One page. Brilliant. Yeah, so maybe we could ask it some questions, but I'm very aware of the time. So a couple more questions, and then we need to. What's the place nearby we're going to? Yeah, just up the road. Okay. Oh, one more. Wait.
Private.
So my question was like, I'm curious that you mentioned that you can't use this at work. I'm curious you mentioned that you can't use Cline at work because it's so expensive, but people are expensive too. And
Yes.
do you have an intuition about like, is the company just like obviously materially much worse off for paying you to take longer to do stuff, or like is it sufficiently a boost to productivity that it would be in the company's bottom line interest to pay for it, or could you?
No, I think Cursor's still better. I think I think Cursor's still better for the larger, more. You need to have like a lot more context in there, and I'm not sure Cline. I haven't tried it, to be honest. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's cost prohibitive for me, but we just. Have I used it for stuff? I don't think I have, but I think I just lean on Cursor a lot more than I would on Cline. But Cline's really nice, just for making nice little toy apps. You go, right, go, and it'll go off and do it. And you think 50p? I mean, like what Rowan was saying earlier, you can just churn stuff out for a couple of quid. And if it's a useful tool to you, then, it's worth the money in my regard. Right, what?
Does it make sense?
Is it what, sorry?
So like really big code.
No.
Not yet.
Too cost prohibitive. Too cost prohibitive. So remember that approach I spoke about where you've got the plan and act? Maybe it's using DeepSeek building up a big plan file and then getting it to act on it afterwards. But I still think it'd be a lot more expensive than it would with Cursor. Yeah. Right, let's go. Thank you, everyone.
You're going to take a picture of that if you want first 5 people before Saturday. And yeah, there's no better.